Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Idol. You guys obviously clicked on this video because you don't know what Valyrian steel is, or you do, but you just kind of want to know more, and especially about the swords and other type of weapons, but regardless, don't worry, I got you. Valyrian steel is a form of metal that was forged in the days of the mighty Valyrian freehold. It is one of the most magical weapons to ever exist, being so light to carry and never losing its sharpness. In fact, it's actually known for its sharpness. Valyrian steel is one of the few things that can kill White Walkers, alongside dragonglass. Since the destruction of Valyria, however, the majority of the surviving Valyrian steel weapons serve as heirlooms in the various houses and great houses of Westeros. If you wanted to forge a Valyrian steel weapon nowadays, you wouldn't be able to because the recipe for doing so was lost in the doom of Valyria. It was expensive to begin with, so like I said before, any swords that are in existence now are greatly valued and kept as heirlooms in the many great houses in Westeros, passed down through generations. However, you are able to reforge Valyrian steel weapons by melting down existing ones, but it is pretty hard to do. For example, you can make two small Valyrian steel swords out of a larger greatsword, or vice versa. But it is extremely risky because if you fuck that up, you basically just lost some extremely rare Valyrian steel. Some maesters also bear Valyrian steel link in the maester chain they wear. It is actually rumored that Euron Greyjoy may possess Valyrian steel armor of his own, but don't know where that rumor came from, so take that with a grain of salt. Fun fact though, the crown of Aegon I Targaryen was actually forged from Valyrian steel. But where did Valyrian steel come from? Well, according to legend, Valyrian steel was forged with dragonfire and infused with magical spells. Some say with blood magic, literally requiring fire and blood like House Targaryen's motto. Having been forged with dragonfire, Valyrian steel is incredibly resistant to damage from just normal fire. In A Feast for Crows, Sam Tarly tells Jon about old annals claiming that dragon steel is lethal to the White Walkers, like dragonglass. They both suspect that dragon steel is just another name for Valyrian steel, but haven't been able to put that to the test yet. Well, this was actually confirmed when in the show, Jon Snow killed a White Walker during the massacre at Hardhome. Now, there are many Valyrian steel swords out there. It's not exactly stated how much because they vary from the books to the show, but here's a list of the most popular ones. The most popular and legendary sword is Blackfire. It is the ancestral sword of House Targaryen, once wielded by Aegon the Conqueror, and lost during the Blackfire Rebellion. The sword's whereabouts are actually unknown right now. The last time we seen the sword was during the first Blackfire Rebellion. After the death of Daemon and his twin sons at the Redgrass Field, his half-brother Aegor Rivers, known as Bitter Steel, took Blackfire with him into exile to the Free Cities, where he formed the Golden Company. Technically the sister to Blackfire, Dark Sister, a longsword of House Targaryen held by Visenya Targaryen, was actually one of two swords that were brought from Dragonstone after the Doom of Valyria. We're also not too sure where this sword is, as Aegon V gave it to the Bloodraven to serve at the wall, so its whereabouts are unknown because we didn't see the Bloodraven carrying this weapon. Now for the great sword of House Stark, the famous Ice. It was actually taken by the Lannisters and used to behead Eddard Stark by Ilyn Payne. I know, that is pretty fucked up. Tragically, the sword was melted down by Tywin, of course, into two smaller longswords given to Jaime and Joffrey. Those two swords are Oathkeeper and Widow's Wail. Oathkeeper was actually given to Brienne by Jaime so she can protect Sansa, which she did actually return back to Jaime in season 6, episode 8. Widow's Wail was given to Joffrey as a wedding gift, and it is now in the hands of Tommen, the other Morn that will probably die soon because he needs to. Oh, and it's also given to him because Joffrey died, so hopefully there is a trend there. Now there's the bastard sword Longclaw, the ancestral sword of House Mormont, given by Jorah Mormont to Jon Snow. This sword isn't as old as many of the other Valyrian swords. It's only about 500 years old. This was actually held by Jorah Mormont because his father gave it to him when he went to go serve at the Night's Watch. But when Jorah brought dishonor to his house, he did leave it behind, which after Jon saved Jorah Mormont's life, he gave it to Jon, even forging the bear sigil, since it melted a little bit when he did save him, into a wolf's resemblance, you know, the Stark sigil, saying it was a bastard sword for a bastard. Bright Roar is the ancestral sword of House Lannister that was lost by King Tommen II Lannister on his trip to Valyria. Tywin has been searching for the sword for years, and as of yet, no one seems to know where it is. There are a lot of Valyrian swords owned by great houses, like Red Rain, the sword of House Drum, Lamentation, the sword of House Royce, Orphan Maker, the sword of House Roxton, Truth, a Valyrian steel sword last carried by Moreto Roger of Lys, Vigilance, the ancestral sword of House Hightower, Nightfall, the ancestral sword of House Harlaw, Heartsbane, the ancestral sword of House Tarly, which was taken by Sam after leaving his family home, Where he's going, who knows, but hopefully it's with Jon. Maybe Jon's about to get killed and then Sam comes out of nowhere and kills Ramsay? Who knows? But there's Lady Forlorn, the ancestral sword of House Corbray, and this is actually connected to the Dunk and Egg stories, which I should do a video on because there's a lot of amazing shit there. Now, there are many daggers and other weapons that are made from Valyrian steel, but these long or great swords are the ones that are most valued by houses. In particular, there is a dagger with the dragonbone hilt that was held by the assassin that tried to kill Bran. This dagger is actually in possession by Littlefinger now. We will probably see many of these Valyrian swords be of use when Jon and the others fight the White Walkers. That we assume anyways. I don't think it's going to be that easy though, as just that easy as just attacking them and wiping the White Walkers out. Because the White Walkers know about it now, I do think they're going to come up with some strategy to be able to fight the men who have those Valyrian swords, right? We may even see them somehow breaking magically, who knows? But there will be surprises. I don't think it's going to be just that easy. I'm also interested in seeing the future for the Great Swords, in particular Longclaw and Blackfyre. Will Jon keep Longclaw forever or give it back to House Mormont? If he is a Targaryen, will he wield Blackfyre? Because, well, if they ever find it, first of all. But if he is Targaryen, he could wield it. But I doubt it. I mean, I do believe Jon is just more faithful to House Stark and more faithful to just the weapons he has, and he has a history with Longclaw now. I think he's going to be faithful to Longclaw. If anyone were to wield Blackfyre, it probably would be Daenerys. But what do you guys think about Valyrian steel weapons? How do you think these weapons will play a role in the future of Westeros, especially the great battle that's going to be happening? Not Battle of the Bastards, but the great war that is dawning. Sound off in the comments below, and for more movie news and reviews, subscribe here at Movie Idol.